In 1979, Ridley Scott made one of the most terrifying creatures in film history, the alien. That elongated head, those two sets of jaws, the way it moved, wrong, predatory, in a way that felt genuinely ancient. People assumed it came entirely from the imagination of the artist H.R. Giger, pure nightmare fuel conjured from scratch.
He sent me, I think, about $1,000 to do some paintings for Alien.
But there's a theory, a very well-supported theory, that Giger didn't pull it from his imagination. He pulled it from the ocean, somewhere between 200 and 1,000 feet below the surface of every major ocean on Earth. There is a creature so alien-looking that even marine biologists describing it for the first time reached for sci-fi language. It's about 1.5 inches long. It's almost completely transparent. Its eyes take up most of its head, 2 of them pointing sideways, 2 pointing straight up, and it moves through the open ocean inside the hollowed-out body of its victim. This is Phronima, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never look at the Alien franchise the same way again. Before we get into what Phronima does, we need to talk about where it lives, because the environment shapes everything. Imagine you're diving into the ocean. You pass the coral reefs, you pass the kelp forests, you go deeper, past where sunlight turns from blue to black. You're now in what oceanographers call the mesopelagic zone, the Twilight zone, anywhere from 200 to 1,000 meters down. It's one of the largest habitats on Earth, and we know almost nothing about it. There's no seafloor to rest on, no rocks to hide behind, no coral to duck into. It's just open water in every direction, forever. Think about what that means for survival. You can't hide, you can't anchor, you can't dig a burrow. Every predator above you and below you can theoretically see you coming from hundreds of feet away. Most animals that live here have evolved the same 2 solutions. Go bioluminescent and confuse everything, or go transparent and disappear entirely. Phronima went transparent. Its body is almost completely see-through, like a little glass shrimp just floating in nothing. And when you're transparent, you're almost invisible in open water. Predators look right through you. But here's the problem with being transparent. You can't hide your eggs. Eggs are dense, opaque. A transparent mother carrying a visible clutch of eggs is basically wearing a neon sign that says, "Free meal right here." And Phronima has a lot of eggs, so she needed to solve that problem. And the solution she evolved is one of the most bizarre and, honestly, kind of brilliant things in the ocean. She builds a room out of someone else's body. The victim is called a salp. If you've never heard of a salp, picture a barrel made of jelly, anywhere from 1 centimeter to several centimeters long, completely transparent. It drifts through the ocean, pumping water through its body to filter out tiny particles of food. Peaceful, passive, basically just a living water filter. Salps are, for what it's worth, more closely related to us than they are to jellyfish. They're tunicates, early chordates, distant ancestors of vertebrates. So when Phronima goes after one, it's going after something in our very distant family tree, which makes this a little more uncomfortable. Phronima spots a salp, and here's where it gets interesting. Because Phronima doesn't just find salps randomly, it hunts them actively. Those giant upward-pointing eyes, they're scanning the water above for the silhouettes of salps backlit by whatever dim light filters down from the surface. The smaller side-facing eyes handle everything at eye level. It has basically evolved a targeting system for this exact prey. It closes in, and then, using claw-like front appendages that are, I'll be honest, genuinely unsettling to look at, it grabs the salp and goes to work. It doesn't eat the whole thing. That's the key detail. It eats just enough. It hollows out the soft internal organs. It scrapes the inside walls clean. It reshapes the barrel, literally remodeling it. And scientists have found evidence that it actually secretes chemicals into the remaining tissue to toughen the structure. It's not just eating, it's renovating. And here's the detail that made me stop and just sit for a minute when I read it. The salp's cells, in many cases, they're still alive after Phronima finishes. Phronima doesn't need the salp dead. It needs the barrel intact, so it takes just enough to hollow it out without collapsing the structure, and the remaining tissue stays biologically active. Scientists think this is actually intentional, A living structure holds its shape better, decays slower. She's not killing it, she's repurposing it. That's not predation, that's engineering. She climbs inside, lays her eggs, and then she does something that earned this animal one of the best nicknames in all of marine biology. She pushes the barrel from inside. Using her back legs against the walls of the salp, she propels the whole structure through the water, barrel and all, steering it, maintaining it, circulating fresh oxygenated water through it for her developing young. Scientists call her the Pram Bug, as in a baby pram, a stroller, a mother ferrying her children through the deep ocean inside the renovated corpse of a relative of ours. I don't know how to explain how I feel about that. Okay, so let's talk about Alien. The story goes like this. Let's talk about Alien. The story goes like this. David Attenborough, narrating Blue Planet, described Phronima on camera and drew the parallel to the alien queen himself. That clip circulated. The internet lost its mind. And ever since, Phronima has been the go-to answer to what real animal inspired the Alien franchise. Now, full transparency, there's been some debate about this. The original alien creature design came from H.R. Geiger's surrealist paintings, and some people argue the Phronima connection was retrofitted after the fact. But here's the thing, look at Phronima. Like, actually look at it. The elongated, transparent dome of a head. The eyes positioned on top, facing upward. The exposed body cavity that you can see right through. The fact that it raises its young inside another creature's hollowed-out body. And then look at the alien queen from Aliens, the 1986 sequel. The massive translucent crest, the body designed to house and protect eggs, the way she guards her young with terrifying maternal ferocity. Whether or not Giger consciously referenced Phronima, the parallel is undeniable. And the thing that gets me? The real version lives in the actual ocean. Right now, you could sail over one today and never know. The monster in the movie needed a spaceship to get here. Phronima's already here. Has been for millions of years. Okay, here's where I want to do what I did in the last video and turn this whole thing on its head. Because yes, Phronima is a body snatcher. Yes, it kills its host and wears it like a suit. That's objectively terrifying. But what if I told you that Phronima is also, completely accidentally, one of the most important carbon recyclers in the entire ocean? Here's the chain. Salps feed on phytoplankton near the surface. Phytoplankton, as you probably know, absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through photosynthesis. When salps eat phytoplankton, all that carbon is now locked inside the salp's body. When salps die, or get hollowed out by Phronima, their dense, carbon-rich bodies sink fast, sometimes all the way to the ocean floor. That's carbon, pulled from the atmosphere, sent to the bottom of the ocean. Oceanographers call it the biological pump. And salps, and by extension the whole ecosystem around them, including Phronima, are a massive part of how our planet regulates its own CO2 levels. Phronima doesn't know any of this. It's just trying to raise its kids. But in doing so, it's participating in one of the most important climate regulation systems on Earth. There's also this. Phronima's eyes, those bizarre, upward-pointing, massive compound eyes, have been studied by engineers at the Smithsonian and NASA, because the way Phronima sees in near-complete darkness, detecting faint bioluminescent signals through a translucent barrel while remaining almost perfectly camouflaged itself, that's an optical engineering problem that our best cameras haven't fully solved. Research on Phronima's visual system has actually contributed to the design of imaging equipment used on deep-sea robots, and some of the visual principles have fed into concepts explored for planetary rovers. A creature the size of your thumb, living in total darkness 1,000 feet underwater, wearing the hollowed body of a distant relative of ours, is quietly contributing to space exploration. Nature finds a way to keep surprising you, so the next time someone asks you what the scariest creature in the ocean is, don't say shark, don't say giant squid. Say Phronima, a transparent 1.5-inch long shrimp that hunts in the Twilight Zone, carves out the inside of its victim without killing it, moves in, raises its children inside the body, propels the whole thing through the open ocean with its legs, and, if you believe the story, gave a Swiss surrealist artist the nightmare that became one of cinema's most iconic monsters. And it does it invisibly. every single day, everywhere. In the last video, we covered Saculina, the barnacle that rewrites a crab's gender and turns it into a babysitter. If you missed that one, it's linked right here. These two are part of a series I'm building on the ocean's most extreme survival strategies, and the next one I'm working on is going to be about something that doesn't just take over a body. It dissolves its way in using chemistry that shouldn't be possible in a living organism. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a comment. I genuinely read them, and I'm curious, which of these two creatures freaks you out more? I'll see you in the next one.